Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. My name is Alex Dvorkin and I'm a managing partner at 4D Capital. We specialize in a very unique mathematical approach to the stock market where we analyze the market and individual stocks in multidimensional space. And when we do, essentially perfect order emerges. On top of that, we've developed a number of very powerful timing indicators. And when we combine both of those factors, we can very often predict exactly what the overall stock market or individual stocks will do going forward. I personally believe our work is nearly identical to what Jim Simmons was able to accomplish at Renaissance Technologies. So our firm's primary goal is to identify stocks that will 2x, 5x, 10x, and do so within a relatively short period of time. So we're looking for the next NVIDIA, Apple, Bitcoin, Tesla, and so forth. And who isn't, correct? But we have a special weapon that helps us find such opportunities, and that weapon is our very powerful software that is based on top of our multidimensional mathematical work. So what we are able to do, we are able to scan, for example, the entire S&P 500. We are able to identify very important long-term upcoming tops for most stocks. We can identify, bottoms, not tops. We can also identify tops, but that game is a little bit more difficult. As you know, it's a lot more difficult to make money on the short side. So we look for very important bottoms. And then from those bottoms, we're able to project exactly what their underlying equity will do going forward in both time and price. And then we're able to essentially look for opportunities that will appreciate the most within the shortest period of time. Okay. We have a webinar coming up this Friday. I almost forgot about it, where we describe our work in great details, how we do our calculations. So if you would be interested, the link is in the description of this video. Please check it out. Today we're going to be looking at one of our mega cap stocks, AbbVie Incorporation, ticker symbol ABBV. Actually, hopefully I'm pronouncing it correctly. We've been doing analysis on it for a while, and I actually have no idea how to pronounce it. I think it's AbbVie. It's a pharmaceutical company. So anyway, this particular analysis is not going to be very exciting. AbbVie is doing more or less what it should be doing. There isn't much of an opportunity. It's moving into this major cycle top. Once that major cycle top is put in place, it's gonna decline into this major cycle bottom. There isn't much gain left for the stock, we believe, and there isn't much of a sell-off. So from that perspective, if you are looking for an opportunity of a fast-moving stock or super equity that we post once in a while, this particular opportunity is definitely not it. But if you do have a position in AbbVie, then please check out this analysis. I'm going to explain what you're looking at, especially for those who are not familiar with our work. If you're familiar with our work, please skip forward probably 3 to 4 minutes, and you're going to be in the midst of this particular analysis. So what you're seeing at the bottom and the top of the chart, these triangles, is basically a very simplistic visual representation of a very complex mathematical concept where we scan the chart back in multidimensional space, we identify these composites, and then we project them into the future. What makes a matter a little bit more complicated, there are typically multiple composites running at the same time, both up and down on any given stock. So I use Dow Jones as an example always, and Dow Jones, for example, has two bottom composites responsible for the bottoms, obviously, and two top composites responsible for the tops. But if you know how they work and you can put them together, you can essentially replicate what you see in a two-dimensional time and price chart in terms of actually following this time and price market action. Okay? So the cycle composites get us into the neighborhood of where a turning point is going to be. Depending on the length of the cycle, let's say plus or minus 2 weeks or 2 months in this case, and we can continue to break these cycles down into smaller versions of it to get the shorter term moves all the way down to intraday. So just as a side point. So this gives us into the neighborhood approximately. If we look at ABBV here, it is March of 2026 projected top. And the lines you see on the chart here is what we call cycle clusters, okay? And cycle clusters essentially give you the exact date. It is also a very simplistic representation of a complex mathematical concept. We once again scan the chart back in three-dimensional space, and then we project it into the future. But this time around, we use our own proprietary cycles that we've developed over the years. What we found also is that typically very important or not so important if you're looking at short-term composition, Turning points typically happen not when any particular cycle arrives at any given time, but when there's a multitude of cycles arriving at the same time. So if we have 2, 5, 10 cycles, the more the better, the more longer term they are, the better. Arriving at the same time, then rest assured there's going to be a turning point there. I once again use Dow Jones as an example. On March 6th, 2009, as you know, very important bottom for the market. Many would argue the beginning of this bull market that we're currently in. There were 15 long-term cycles arriving within a 3-day period of time. So if you're familiar with this kind of work, you very well know that that particular juncture, because the market is falling and selling off into that juncture, would be a very important turning point for the market. And of course it was. Okay, so once again, get us into the neighborhood. This gives us the exact date of the upcoming turning point. So if we look at ABBV, basically what the forecast is that it is increasing into this major cycle top. This major cycle top is scheduled for March of 2026, next year, a couple months away, plus or minus, let's say 1 month. Once this top is put in place, ABBV will decline into this major cycle bottom, scheduled for, let me click on this, June of 2027. So the question becomes, what about the prices? Let me show you this. So what you're seeing is our three-dimensional mathematical calculations. I know it doesn't make any sense to you. It makes perfect sense to us. So you just stay with me and I'll explain what that means. So what you're seeing here is a projection to the upside. According to our calculations, our internal work that we do by hand, so to speak, we believe this particular region is going to be the completion point of ABBV rally. And as you can see here at the top, it is between $260 to $275. To be more exact, let's say it's $265 plus or minus $5. So that's when we anticipate the top for the stock. And if you recall from the previous chart, March of 2026 with a little bit of variance. And at that time, the top is going to be put in place at approximately $265 plus or minus $5. That's going to be the major cycle top. And then subsequently, the stock's going to decline. So the question becomes, well, how far will it go? Let me show you. This is how incredibly powerful our software is. All we have to do is, well, it's not all we have to do. There's actually a lot of calculations happening behind the scenes. But we make the projections where the top is going to be. And this is going to show us the exact, all possibilities in terms of the bottom projections. Now, once again, I know this doesn't make any sense to you, but from our perspective, these particular two regions are going to be the most likely targets. Once the top is confirmed, we're going to have much more certainty, because at that juncture we can use short-term work in order to confirm our longer-term work, and that's going to give us the exact projections for the bottom. But as we speak, you know, these two levels in I think it was June of 2027 look the most promising at this point. And you know, nothing. That is why in the beginning I said this is going to be nothing major in terms of both the upside and downside. Doesn't really provide much opportunity. So it's going to increase a little bit, a couple more percentage points, and then they're going to decline into this area, which is going to be your typical sell-off for AbbVie Inc. Going forward. So I think that's it in terms of forecast. Tomorrow we have Disney. I believe, yeah, I think we have Disney. Once again, we have webinar coming up. We do have a service. We used to offer a 30-day free trial. That is no longer the case. We're going to have something else available starting early next year, but it's going to be paid. We're not going to be offering any more free trials. So either way you twist it, we do encourage you to check out our website. We'll link in the description of the video, and there you're going to be able to learn not only about our mathematical work, but also exactly how we make projections and the kind of services that we offer. So thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful day ahead, and we'll be back with another update tomorrow. Bye-bye.